And so, from the vantage point, what stories do you think within queer publishing are still missing?
So
Um,
it's actually
are you waiting for something to materialize that you haven't seen yet?
it's actually kind of funny because I was a commissioning editor when I was working in publishing, and commissioning editors sort of help form the stories that are going to be printed along with the authors. So many of the books we commissioned were things that I already saw as gaps in like the publishing landscape. So some that I was particularly proud of was there was an anthology of trans for trans love stories that's coming out next year that I commissioned, which I had never seen a book like that before. There was a kids book called Queer Latin Heroes, and I had never seen a intersectional queer children's book that was the intersection of queer and Latin lives. I did a book on how therapists could better serve their sex worker clients. I did a book on the intersections of queerness and disability. And I did a book on authors that had experienced conversion therapy, a practical guide to relationship anarchy. So these are just some of the gaps that I saw and that I was able to
Wow.
help fill.
Yeah, we just had on the podcast a photographer from London. Her name is Osa Johannesson, and she has a book that is talking about images as queer. Not her subjects are queer, but she's really looking at the image itself and the language. And I thought sort of queer methodologies of images, which is not anything I had ever thought of or heard of before. So somebody's always coming up with something new, it seems.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Um, so you won an Ohio Arts Council Award. Congratulations. That was in 2022. Did this recognition and the funding behind it change anything for you? Did it change what was possible for you to explore and work within?
So I have a very strong belief that like arts are or shouldn't be competition based. I teach at an online MFA, and we just had a talk there with the author Chuck Tingle. I don't know if he's a queer author,
I don't know.
but he said something that was really, really, really important to me, and that was that in the arts, the winner's circle, we can make it as big as we want it to be. It doesn't have to be just room for one or two people in there. We can make it as big as we want it to be. And that's really what I believe. I applied for the Ohio Arts Council because award because it had a monetary cash award, and I needed the money, and I applied for it. But for the most part, I don't really apply for awards because I just believe that the arts exist in a realm that like is not of competition. I think that, if you stick with it and you get your work out there and you don't let rejection stop you, you've won in the arts. You're a winner, right? And the idea that we should be competing for book awards or other things like that, I really don't love it. So I don't put a ton of stock into winning awards or applying for awards usually. And again, I did apply for that one because that money was something that I needed at the time. But for the most part, I don't have my I don't have my publisher put my books in for awards. It's just not something I'm particularly interested in. I think that
Yeah.
we're all winners in the arts.
Yeah.